Colors are often a make or break factor when it comes to standing out on social media. The right palette grabs attention, reinforces your brand, and stops the scroll, while the wrong one can make your content blend in or feel off-brand. Your colors aren't just about looking pretty. They're about standing out in a crowded feed and creating instant brand recognition. But before we dive into the how, let's understand the why. Color is one of the most powerful tools you have for building brand awareness, and yet most brands treat it like an afterthought. Research consistently shows that color plays a significant role in how people form first impressions and make decisions. On social media platforms, where users scroll quickly through content, color often becomes the first element they recognize before someone decides whether to keep scrolling or stop and engage. In an environment of rapid consumption, every visual element needs to work hard to capture attention. Social media presents a unique challenge that traditional branding never had to face. Your brand isn't sitting on a shelf in a controlled retail environment. It's competing in an infinite scroll of content, where users encounter vast amounts of visual information throughout their day. Each platform has its own visual culture, algorithm preferences, and user behavior patterns. On Instagram, for example, the feed is designed as a grid. When someone visits your profile, they don't just see one post, they see 9 posts simultaneously. This grid view means your color consistency creates a visual impact that's immediately recognizable. A cohesive color palette makes your profile look professional, intentional, and trustworthy. On TikTok and Instagram Reels, where video content dominates, your colors need to work in motion. They need to be visible in thumbnails that are tiny on mobile screens. We start with 2 to 3 primary colors. That's it. Not 5, not 10. 2 to 3 colors that represent your brand at its core, because brand recognition is built on consistency and repetition, not variety. Think about the world's most recognizable brands: Coca-Cola, red; Tiffany & Company, that specific blue; Starbucks, green. They each own their color in consumers' minds. In order to create real brand recognition and make sure we're actually using the same colors across every piece of content, we need to document the exact hex codes. If your brand is blue, is it a deep navy blue or number 87 CEEB, a sky blue? There's a huge difference, and consistency matters tremendously in brand recognition. Then we add our secondary colors that complement your primary palette. These are for accents, backgrounds, text highlights, and variety. Your secondary colors should work harmoniously with your primary colors, but give you the flexibility you need to create diverse designs without feeling repetitive. Let's talk about color psychology for a moment, because your color choices communicate something whether you intend them to or not. While individual responses to color can vary based on personal experience and cultural background, there are some general associations that many people share. Blue is commonly associated with trust, professionalism, stability, and calm. This is why many tech companies like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and healthcare brands use it. Blue is frequently cited as a popular color across many cultures. It tends to feel safe and professional, but that also means it's common. If you choose blue, you need to find a way to make your specific blue distinctive. Red is often associated with urgency, excitement, passion, and energy. It's frequently used for sale signs, call to action buttons, and brands that want to feel bold and confident. Like Coca-Cola, Netflix, and YouTube, red demands attention, but it can also feel aggressive if overused. Green commonly suggests growth, health, nature, and in some contexts, prosperity. It's associated with environmental consciousness and wellness. Whole Foods, Starbucks, and many health and wellness brands use green to communicate their values. Yellow is often perceived as optimistic, energetic, and youthful. It has high visibility, which is why it's used for caution signs. In branding, it can convey happiness and positivity. Snapchat, McDonald's, and IKEA use yellow to feel approachable and friendly. However, yellow can be challenging to use as a primary color due to contrast issues on light backgrounds. Purple often feels luxurious, creative, spiritual, or wise. Historically, purple dye was expensive and rare, which created associations with royalty and wealth. Modern brands use it to feel premium, or to tap into creativity and imagination, like Twitch. Now here's the strategy part that separates amateur content creators from strategic brand builders. You can use your colors to categorize your content types. This is where color becomes a powerful organizational and psychological tool. Maybe your educational posts always feature a brown background, your behind-the-scenes content uses red color, and your product features showcase your brand's primary color. This creates a visual rhythm that people subconsciously begin to recognize and understand. When your audience sees a post with your signature brown background, they immediately know, oh, this is going to teach me something. When they see your red, they know they're getting a behind-the-scenes glimpse. When they see your primary brand color, they know you're featuring a product or making an announcement. You're training your audience to understand your content before they even read the caption. The sad beige era, as many of us in the industry like to call it, has become less effective for brands wanting to stand out. Let me give you some context here. For several years, roughly 2018 to 2022, a minimalist aesthetic dominated Instagram. Muted tones, beige backgrounds, neutral palettes. This aesthetic was pioneered by lifestyle influencers and quickly became a widespread visual language. While that worked initially, widespread adoption meant it no longer created differentiation. This is a perfect example of what happens in social media. When many accounts adopt the same aesthetic, individual accounts lose their distinctive visual identity. We're now seeing a shift toward bold colors used strategically, colorful but not chaotic. This is about reclaiming visual distinction while maintaining professionalism and intentionality. Of course, don't overdo it. The goal isn't to overwhelm viewers with aggressive colors. It's to demonstrate confidence in your visual identity. You want to create visual interest and memorability without sacrificing brand sophistication or professionalism. Now it's time to complete the color section of your brand guidelines document.